Hello, and a very warm welcome to our channel. We're back with yet another informative video all about physical presence calculator for Canadian citizenship. Once you check your eligibility, the next step is to find out if you've been physically present in Canada long enough to be eligible for citizenship. If you have, the calculator will tell you that you're eligible to apply. If you have not, it will tell you when you will be eligible to apply. The physical presence calculator is for permanent residents applying for granted citizenship under subsection 5.1. The online calculator is the preferred method to calculate your physical presence in Canada. So how to use a physical presence calculator, and what are the requirements for it? These and so many other questions in your mind will be answered in today's video. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to our channel and tap the notification bell icon to learn more and remain updated about new videos in the series. How the residence physical presence requirement is calculated depends on when the application was received by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. Requirements and rules of calculation. You must be physically present in Canada for 1,095 days within the 5 years immediately before applying for citizenship. Only the 5 years preceding the date of your application is considered your eligibility period. Within that 5-year period, every day you spend in Canada as a permanent resident counts as a full day. Every day you spend in Canada as a temporary resident or protected person before you become a permanent resident counts as half days up to a maximum of 365 days. Therefore, in order to get the maximum 365-day credit, you need to be physically present in Canada as a temporary resident for 730 days during your eligibility period. Time spent serving a sentence in Canada does not count towards the physical presence requirement. It means you cannot count time spent serving a term of imprisonment, probation, and/or parole as physical presence. However, time spent serving a sentence outside of that 5-year period does not have to be declared. Time on probation as a result of a conditional discharge may count towards physical presence if the probation was completed successfully. Time spent imprisoned or on probation does not have to be declared if you were convicted under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, received a youth sentence, and successfully completed that sentence, or you were convicted under the previous Young Offenders Act and successfully completed that sentence. The calculator uses the following rules to determine the number of days absent for each absence declared. When calculating an absence, the day you leave Canada and the day you return are not considered an absence. Both are counted as days of physical presence because you were physically present in Canada for a part of the day of departure or arrival. An absence on a leap day is counted as an absence or is credited as a presence. The total number of days absent includes all absences from Canada within the 5-year period immediately preceding the date of your application. If you were not a permanent resident for your entire eligibility period, the 5 years preceding the date of your application, the physical presence calculator will automatically ask you if you were physically present in Canada as a temporary resident or protected person before becoming a permanent resident. If you answer yes, you'll then be required to list all periods of time you had authorized temporary resident status or protected person status in Canada. Every day you spend in Canada as a temporary resident or protected person before you become a permanent resident counts as a half day up to a maximum of 365 days. Therefore, in order to get the maximum 365-day credit, you need to be physically present in Canada as a temporary resident for at least 730 days during your eligibility period. You should declare all time spent in Canada during your eligibility period. This will allow you to count the maximum number of days that you were physically present in Canada on your application. List all absences, even if you come back the same day. To use the physical presence calculator, you must enter an exact date. If you do not remember the exact dates, check your passport and other records like banking records, travel itineraries, and receipts to help you determine your date of travel. You cannot use any time spent in Canada without the authorized status of temporary resident, protected person, or permanent resident for your physical presence calculation. Temporary resident status includes lawful authorization to enter or remain in Canada as a visitor, student, worker, or temporary resident permit holder. A protected person is someone who was found to be in need of protection or a convention refugee by the Immigration and Refugee Board, or a person who received a positive decision on a pre-removal risk assessment from IRCC. If you made a refugee claim or were included in a family member refugee claim, you will not be credited with time in Canada from the date of the refugee claim until you have received a positive decision confirming that you are a protected person. A permanent resident is someone who has been given permanent resident status by the IRCC but is not a Canadian citizen. How to use the physical presence calculator? Well, the process goes on in the following way. Fill in all the required information, enter all dates correctly, list all time spent serving a sentence in Canada in the last 5 years, list all your time away from Canada, including travel for work or vacation in the last 5 years. After entering all the required data correctly, the calculator will tell you if you meet the physical presence requirement. If you meet the physical presence requirement, print and sign the calculation. Attach a copy of it to your application. If you do not meet the physical presence requirement, you're not eligible to apply for citizenship. The calculator will give you a date when you should be eligible to apply, assuming nothing changes and you remain in Canada. When you are eligible to apply, redo the calculation before sending the application. To save the calculation, you need to register with an email address. Before submitting, make sure that the following dates are all the same: date of application used in this calculation, date of signature on this physical presence calculation printed out, and date of signature on the form for application for Canadian citizenship. Please note that in case of any miscalculation of the days of physical presence, your application will be refused and the fee will not be refunded. Also, Citizenship and Immigration Canada encourage applicants to apply with more than 1,095 days of living in Canada, in case there is a problem with the calculation. So make sure to fulfill all the requirements and check them twice before submitting. That's all about physical presence calculation. If you fulfill the requirements and follow the procedure, very soon you'll get your citizenship. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, tap the subscribe button, like and share it with your friends. Do not forget to share your comments down below. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll be talking about how to apply for Canadian citizenship online. Until then, happy exploring. Thank you.